Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Fans of DC Universe podcast, the only DCU podcast for the fans, by the fans, and the best source for all DC Universe news and discussion on everything DTU. Joining us this week, we have Aquaman C137, me, Nathan.Payson, and AwesomeSquid.
Hi.
So this week, we are discussing Harley Quinn, the animated series, DCU Unscripted, and more, including a little tidbit from Office Hours I thought was just random. We're also kind of running out of news articles. This was a quiet week, but whatever. So first, let's talk about the new comics coming out this week. We have Action Comics number 1006, Batgirl number 30, Batman Beyond number 27, Detective Comics number 994. Are you slurping in the background? I just heard some slurping.
No, man. I think you're hearing stuff. He's a squid. Give him a break.
Heroes in Crisis number 4, and he's definitely slurping in the background.
I'm not slurping, I was laughing.
What's so funny? I'm like, Heroes in Crisis! Yeah! I don't know.
This is a fantastic intro, Nathan.
I love it, yeah. Anyway, we also have Injustice versus Masters of the Universe number 6, Justice League Odyssey number 4, Old Lady Harley number 3, Raven Daughter of Darkness number 11, Flash number 61, Silencer number 12, Terrifics number 11, Titans number 32, Wonder Woman number 61, and more. Also, for newly digitized, we have Detective Comics number 342, Doom Patrol number 16, House of Mystery number 195, and House of Secrets number 26. Now, the newly digitized section, I don't really care if we ever do or not, but Don L loves it, so
why don't you care?
Why don't I care? Because I'm never going to read any of this stuff. Okay, actually, I'll be honest.
But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate its existence.
No, I
He's young and he only likes new comics.
I know. No, okay, actually, funny story.
He only likes reading through X-Men.
I know. Actually, speaking of X-Men, I'm reading through the Claire. I'm trying to. I was like, I'm gonna start. I'm out of Hickman's X-Men to read, and I'm all sad because I want to read more X-Men. So I'm like, I'll just start reading Claremont's X-Men, which is the run like every single modern X-Men series is based off of. And so I started reading it, and I was like, I really want to figure out what I should read. And they said, read the series called Classic X-Men, which is the reprint of the X-Men comics, but with some extra little character stories. And that's the best way to read it. The old Claremont's run, at least at the beginning. And so I was like, it's not here. And then I was like, oh well, it's not digitized. And the next day, Marvel digitized it. So yeah.
That's great.
So that's the first time I've ever read a series as they're digitizing it. That was slurping. So what else did you guys read this week?
Wait, were you just slurping the whole time and trying to pin it on us?
No, I only just slurped that. Although I do have some sparkling water with me. I can slurp quietly.
Gonna try to pin that on me too?
This is why we can't go places.
Actually, before we go any further, I am going to say this. I have received requests from multiple people to do another Applejack episode, and I can tell you another one is in the work. Coming sooner than you all think, but I have no date for it or months.
So how do we know sooner than we think?
Because I think because Applejack can't give me a date for something, but I think I've predicted the date that she's going to give me, and it's sooner than you guys think.
Ooh.
But anyway,
what a tease.
I've already said this on like live, but it'll be based off of conference schedule, so it comes down to when DCU's next big conference panel is. And I think I know which conference it is, like which convention it is and when. But, which would be amazing if it's actually true. I don't know if it is true, but we'll find out. Should I just slurp loudly throughout the episode?
Should be your trademark.
This has been the weirdest start ever. Okay.
There's only 3 people, so the slurp could be like the 4th person.
Okay. Got it. Oh my god, that was an intense slurp.
Dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, so comics I read.
Comics, yeah. What have you read?
So I'm going back to school next week, so I was trying to put a dent in the book club stuff. I read Vroom's, Superman book club, the Bendis Superman 1 through 6. I'd read it before, I kind of forgot a lot of it. And
how'd you feel about it on your second read?
It's good. I don't not like it. My thing with Bendis is just like unnecessary dialogue. That's really my only gripe with him. But there were some really great panels in that. One part I really love, I think it's issue 3, is when he's having the talk with John about being a good person, Superman and everything. And I can't like quote it right now, but it's a really good conversation he has with him. I laughed super hard with so like when the Earth goes into the Phantom Zone and like Aquaman's like, but where's in place of where the Earth is? And then they just like next page is like Adam Strange just like floating next to like a random satellite. It is super funny. That, and I like seeing what's his name, like the Nuclear Man or whatever, from Superman 4. When he gets killed or whatever, that was awesome. That was good fan service. For New 52's book club, the Wonder Woman one, I reread the Dark Side Wars. My goodness, so like I read all the New 52 Justice League as they were coming out, but I forgot like just about everything in that story. It's good though. I really love it. And then go ahead, AwesomeSquid.
Oh, just every time I think of Dark Side War, I'm just surprised at how far in advance it was planned.
Yeah,
because they were teasing.
Well, because it was John's, he's always good with that stuff.
Oh yeah, he was teasing it from the very first arc, though.
Yeah, he knows the DC universe,
really?
like.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He knows the DC universe just not better than anyone who's writing right now.
Trying to come full circle.
Why don't they have Jeff Johns do more though? Why are they so against it?
No,
because Jeff Johns so much just a couple years ago. Though.
I have no idea what anybody just said.
Okay, he just takes super long to write his stuff. Like, think about it. What's he released in the last year? He has 2 series. He has 3 series going on. Okay.
Think about what he's doing though. He's doing
which is complete. Yeah, Doomsday Clock, which is complete, but got delayed by like a year and a half. We got like a year and a half worth of delays.
It did not. It was like
Shazam.
It was delayed by like 8 months.
It was actually more like a year, but okay. Well, no, didn't it release in November? Didn't the first one release in November 2017?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So 12 months later would be October. So yeah, it's been over. It's about a year and a half.
I'd rather have quality over quantity. I'm fine with it.
I get it. And then Shazam got delayed by like 4 months. Got like before the first, like in the middle of the first arc, it had like a 4-month delay.
I did forget that was even still going.
Oh,
right?
I read the Shazam
stuff. But they're pulling him this way and that. They had him on the movies. Now he's on TV shows. Like he's doing more than just and he's working on the Green Lantern thing.
No,
so
absolutely.
He's doing
but it's like. Comics. But you ask, like, why isn't Jeff Johns doing more comics?
You want him to rush
this is why.
Stuff? Like, do you want him to rush a bunch of stuff like Bendis and just have a bunch of unnecessary dialogue? Or would you rather have him focus on a good story? Because what are you going to remember more? A good story or what date it came out?
I'd rather have a good story, but I'd rather him take, like, 3 months before he starts releasing them so that we don't have, like, these, like, mammoth, like, 4-month delays in the middle of arcs.
Like, make it before you release it.
Like, this is actually something I found really fascinating. It's I think it was Dark Horse and Image have announced that from now on they will always have 3 complete issues before they start before they announce a series that they're developing. And I thought that
feels like just a good idea.
Right.
I mean, they do that a lot. They do that a lot anyway, though. I mean, a lot of like the titles have already been pretty much written by the time they start.
Yeah, but has DC been doing this? Because I keep feeling like DC is just assembling everything as the boat is moving. Like 20 miles an hour. And I'm like, what the frick is going on?
DC is particularly bad at planning.
It really depends
blame
on who's working on the story, you know. Like back in the day, like Cook and stuff like that, he would always or like McDuffie, like they would always have their stuff like planned out. You know what I mean? But like certain new ones, I guess
Darwin
maybe
Cook?
not. Johns normally
Well,
does,
like-
but I was blown away when I heard that it wasn't Frank artwork that he was actually waiting on Johns and was apparently frustrated. You know.
Oh, and like Three Jokers is still in perpetual delays.
I don't think that's ever going to come out, or if it does, it's not like really going to come out.
I heard a new rumor that it's going to be a Black Label series with during 5G.
Well, during 5G, they already announced that it was a Black Label series, but
right.
Did you guys read
2 years ago?
Did you guys read Dead
No,
Earth?
we knew this series was coming. We knew this series was coming in 2016. Like, it's been so long.
Are you talking about the Three Jokers?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that, and then when I was just finishing like the Dark Side War for like New 52's book club, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that
Jokers.
now.
Still waiting.
The whole universe is going to be rebooted before they do. Although,
that's why
considering DC, that's not actually saying that much. It
but
doesn't take that long.
Why is Jeff Johns not having more comics coming out? Because he's not releasing them on time. Like, can you imagine Jeff Johns trying to do like a main? No, he's doing a lot. Stargirl, although Stargirl's gotten like a year worth of delays, which makes me think.
No, but you don't know if that's all him, though. I mean, that could be that could be all kinds of there's things behind the scenes that we probably don't know about, or it could even be stuff in his personal life. Who knows? All I know is he's like one of the best in the business, and I'm sure there's a good reason for why. That's all.
But I don't understand.
I'm
kind of serious. Everyone talks about like Jeff Johns, like he's one of the greatest writers. But in the last like 4 years,
I feel like he should be in charge because think about how good Rebirth was when it started.
Yeah, and then why did he leave?
And it sold well too. And they just so happened to like kick Jeff Johns out basically. Not really confirmed that, but I feel like that's what happened. And
in part because of
Doomsday.
Anyway,
all the books start to suck.
Well, they all partly suck because they didn't want to catch up to Doomsday Clock. So they were coming up with made-up plots to wait. They had like this very tight planning, and then Doomsday Clock got delayed like a year and a half. And so they've had to create a year and a half worth of stories to the point where Doomsday Clock might not even matter. It's very confusing.
But
did you read the last issue? It definitely is relevant.
Well, no, it's definitely relevant, but is it relevant to Rebirth or is it relevant to the preparation for 5G now?
Oh no, they turned.
I know. Well, I think so because he even name drops 5G. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's definitely relevant to 5G, but is it relevant to Rebirth?
I think it was originally meant to be like a part of a plan to reset, like to go back to before the New 52.
Like Rebirth changed. I feel like the Rebirth and with the Doomsday Clock, his whole thing was, all right, so people weren't happy with this, so we're going to pull this from old canon, this from this, fix what was wrong. And then really Rebirth is just a stepping stone to the next, what we want DC to be. So like, I don't think
5G. I don't think 5G was the original plan, though.
There's no way 5G was the original
plan. I don't think that either, but I think that Rebirth was just supposed to be a middle stepping stone to get to where he wanted.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That being said, we're talking about like things that they need to do, including making comics and like having like 3 issues before you start talking about them. My understanding is they're going to have Scott Snyder's DC like Metal 2 will be like designed so that to give the writers a chance to catch up, which is interesting.
There needs to be some kind of in-house cleanup management.
Yeah,
something happening.
They need to all sit down with a big like chalkboard or whiteboard or whatever and plan out the like DC universe, which I guess is sort of what they're trying to do with 5G. Right?
You need tacks and a ball of yarn. We're gonna make this happen.
We should. I swear, we should have a bingo card and one of the middle square, just like instead of the free spot, it just says 5G, because I feel like we talk about like for like 20 minutes every single time we run this podcast.
Whoever did that for the Titans finale, that was hilarious. On the community, did you guys see that?
No.
somebody made a post and they had like a bingo thing for the finale for Titans. It was either for the finale or for the entire second season, and it was like hilarious, all the options and everything. It was gosh, I wish I could
A
remember
lot
the
of
name
them
of that
came true.
thread,
Oh
but it
yeah,
was
I
really
remember. A lot of them came true, right?
no, yeah, they did. It was really funny.
I think I'm gonna.
No, like I can't recall all the options. I just remember I had a laugh when I saw it.
Okay. I'm really bad lately. I've been reading a lot of the comics here. I'm mostly reading Marvel right now. I'm just gonna be quiet before you get killed. I did read Batman number 86 though. That's a good
Yeah, me
story.
too.
I liked it.
So, who do you want to go first, Nathan?
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was a little shocked. I'll say this. I was a little shocked when I started reading reviews for this thing because they were all over the place. Like there are people who were like, "This is an amazing start to the run." There are people who were like, "This is a horrible start to the run." It was all over the place. What comicbook.com gave Tinian's first issue a 1 out of 5, which is the lowest score they can give a comic.
Yeah, no,
And
I
then
didn't gather
and
that.
then AIPT gave him a 9.5. So like they've been all over the place. I generally trust
That kind of makes
AIPT more,
that,
but
that kind of makes sense because I feel like it was in the middle.
I was a little disappointed he didn't do quite as much as I had expected. But I do really like the approach he's taking. He has a lot of different elements all being set up, and I think it'll be a great to reread. Like it's sort of in a sense what like I think it'll be a great reread soon. Yeah, go ahead. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You would
I
have to
didn't
see
get
the
that
play.
vibe at all.
No. I
I
mean
didn't get that.
the big build
But so,
up is
like,
what's going on with Lucius. But
what did you like and
they didn't
not
really
like
focus
though?
on Lucius at all. They're not even like really focusing on Lucius right now. He's there, but he's not the big presence yet. It's definitely
He might not be. They might bring Alfred back.
I do think the comic's moving a little too fast. Aquaman, did you get
Saw
that?
that issue. You did I think it moved too quick, like the story in that
Yeah.
issue?
Yeah.
No. If anything, so like I did not like it. I wasn't like over the top about it. I just thought it was okay. I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, wasn't super thrilled, but I
Like
wasn't really dissatisfied. I
I was
did.
thinking yeah.
There was enough meat to the story to it though. I know it's just one issue, but I just felt like we didn't get enough for that. I like seeing Cheshire. I've liked her since the Titans story with her and Savage and Roy, the Tataris, that thing, and then
So I'm pulling out my copy right now. I I think my biggest complaint I don't know. I'll let you finish a second. But I think my biggest complaint was the fight with Deathstroke was when it was finished way too quick. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wait, what the frick? I'm looking at it again. Yeah. What's going on with the arrows? Wow. Oh, I thought that was the best moment of the entire thing. And I think that's the perfect way. Yeah. Okay. So I actually know what his designs are. And I think it's actually about architectural it's actually about architecture and city planning and how you can map a city and redesign a city to increase or decrease crimes. So an example is removing alleys. What? Like think about an alley, right? Are you more or less likely to have crime in an alley? Because it's less visible. Or is it easier to escape if there's alleys or harder to escape? Right? Those are the kinds of things that Batman wants to do. Right. And so part of, and I know this because I've been reading a lot of interviews by James Tinian about his run. And that's what it's about. It's about architecture and city planning and its effect on crime. And obviously, and when we're talking about rebuilding Gotham, it's huge if the number of alleys and layout of the cities actually becomes incredibly important. Oh, I'm curious. Yeah. He said it was like an action horror, but I never got that feel. Did you? Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Well, one of the big things is they wanted to decrease the number of times you see Batman in an actual comic, like in a fight scene. But I don't know how to feel about that. I also, no, no, like the number of panels you see Batman, like to create more of a sense of mystery of what happened. Not necessarily like no, like instead you see shadows. Like think about like Tim Burton, how the first thing you see is like a shadow of Batman. Like more of that. Right, yeah. Yeah. Well, the last thing I'll say is I was disappointed a little bit in the fact they didn't lean more into the Batman Catwoman relationship, but I did like that they were still like they very much acknowledged that they're still in a very good relationship. You know what? I loved it. Okay, it's okay. I am deeply unpopular with my opinion of both Hickman's X-Men apparently on this podcast. Although none of you have read Hickman's X-Men. I'm telling you, it's the best read you'll read all year. It's my comic of the decade. To be fair, I got the comics in 2017, but comic of the decade. Wow. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into some news. What I have not. I know I'm about to finish college apps, and then I have to go through finals, and then I'll watch Shazam and Joker back to back, and I'll probably watch Shazam first, then Joker. We just had this discussion last week. Let's not rehash this out. And you were there last week. You were there last week. Ugh. Okay. I have it on my list. I have them on my list, and it'll be the first thing I do when I get when I'm out of stuff to do for school. Anyway, it isn't. No, it came out in April. Well, going to news, the CW announced that they're renewing every single DC show and more. So that means we're getting a new season of Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, and Legends of Tomorrow. And we also have Green Arrow and the Canaries and Superman or Lois and Superman. So we're getting a show for DC next year. I think this is perfect. Also, I think it's amazing. I am a little surprised that they chose to like renew everything. Like it's not just like they chose to renew basically every single show in their entire array, whereas normally they cancel a bunch of stuff. Except Arrow was ready to leave, and we're still getting Green Arrow and the Canaries. Speaking of Green Arrow and the Canaries, we got descriptions for for the episodes after Crisis, which give us a little tease as to how they're handling the aftermath of Crisis and the post-Crisis fallout, just a little bit, though not as much as we would like. And one of the big ones is the Green Arrow and the Canaries. We got the backdoor pilot description. And this is the Green Arrow episode 9 called Green Arrows and the Canaries. In the year 2040, Mia Queen has everything she could ever want. She could have ever wanted. Until Laurel and Dinah suddenly show up in her life again. Things take a shocking turn. Laurel and Dinah track a kidnapping victim who has direct ties to Mia. That's just William, right? Direct ties to Mia, kidnapping victim. William. Yeah, that's just William. Unless something drastic happens. What do you think? Are you excited for the Green Arrow and Canaries backdoor pilot or not? No. No. Oh. Arrow is dead. It is dying. This is just a sequel series that's set in the future. Also, you know what baffles me? Green Arrow was like the least watched CW show after Black Lightning. Everybody liked Green Arrow. It's I see what you did there. No, and I think they've continued, especially this season. Every single show has gotten better. Flash had sort of a resurgence in quality. Supergirl's had a very strong season, not as strong as last season, but still very strong. Batwoman has been really fun. It started kind of rough, but it's gotten a lot better. Black Lightning just continues to be very high quality. Green Arrow has had a wonderful finale, and Legend of Tomorrow looks wonderful, but we don't know enough about that. In other news, speaking of Supergirl, the Supergirl description for Supergirl episode 10 is the subsequent complications from the crisis leave Supergirl to face a chaotic threat, and it's called the bottle episode. So basically, they're saying there's going to be some complications from crisis, and it's called the bottle episode, which makes me think, are we talking about Argo City? Because they already killed it. Is Kandor the one in the bottle? Yeah, I was debating whether I had to look it up and I forgot it. It was bad. I know. I know. I had to look up. I was like, it's part of the story of like Superman's like fall and like his latest tragedies, but I forget totally which city it was. Okay, it's Kandor. It's okay. No, it's okay. Everyone can give me shit. Yeah, shock value at its finest. It wasn't a bottle. I thought so too, but it wasn't a bottle, and it was destroyed. and the fact that Superman didn't do anything with it after having it in his like house for 5 years is really disappointing. Apparently, whatever. It's I don't remember. Remember, might have been. He like did Morrison write this? That's how he said it. Ouch. Okay, you can give me some more shit. It's the Nathan. Shame on Nathan Power. Haven't seen Shazam. Haven't seen Joker. Can't remember the name of Candor. Laughing at someone with cancer. Yeah, it's okay. And then for Batwoman, who queer everything is. How queer. Let me double check that because I read who queer everything is today. That's wrong. The title is actually called How Queer Everything Is Today. And the description is while Gotham busies itself reacting to Batwoman's awkward encounter, Alice celebrates her ultimate act of revenge. A devastated Mary focuses on Jacob Kane's trial. Sophie seeks advice about her love life from someone unexpected. Ooh. Translation, Batwoman is doing nothing with Crisis. That's my theory. Yeah, but they're not going to do anything with Batwoman yet. They're partly it's because Batwoman's popular. No, also, no one actually understands the Batwoman timeline, like where it is right now in the timeline. Are we caught up to Crisis? Are we not? Because we're past Elseworlds now. But have we passed like a year's worth of content since Elseworlds? No, it makes no sense. It's a little weird. But translation, they're not doing much with Crisis. But Black Lightning is. Jefferson navigates his new reality following the events of the Red Wave. Lynn's determination to save the Metakids deepens her troubles, and Anissa slash Blackbird faces new challenges. Jennifer's bond with Brandon begins to grow. Ooh, Brandon and Jennifer. I have no idea who Brandon is. Someone please help me. Okay, good to know. I've seen the first season and a half. Yeah, I'm kind of there. I need to watch it. It's really good. Love it. Anyway, do really like that Jefferson navigates his new reality following the events of the Red Wave. I think they're merging the worlds together. I think you think they're gonna keep Supergirl. Oh yeah. Hmm. We'll see. And then the final one is Legends of Tomorrow. The last one we know about is Legends of Tomorrow, which is Meet the Legends. Sarah and Ray and Mick are just shocked to discover that the Legends have become famous. The Legends discover that their new problem is Rasputin. Constantine thinks he knows the reason for new time blips and informs the team that it won't be easy to defeat. Ooh. So, are the Legends of Tomorrow going to get famous in Crisis on Infinite Earths? Given that the series is centered around the fallout of Crisis, or not? I think it's funny. It's the most Legends thing ever. Yeah. No, and then they see that they saw the call and they decided to ignore it. Yeah. Or they were like, shouldn't we receive a call for the yeah. And they were like and then they saw the call and they were like, nah, we're good. Whatever. This time around for Crisis, they were like, oh, is this your first crossover? I thought it was funny. Well, because well, I mean, to be fair, it's like they have to do these fights. They do these fights every year with like these people, like with the people from like other like parts of the world and like other heroes. So in a sense, it's a crossover for them. So I think it's funny. It is. But notably, we don't have a Flash description yet, which makes me wonder what's going on with that. Is Flash just, I hope so too. That was my thought. Yeah, we'll see. But it makes sense that they wouldn't tell us yet. Or that they would even go so far as to delay it a week so that they don't have to reveal the description. But I also think it's notable how small the Supergirl description is. Like, literally, all it is the subsequent complications from the crisis leave Supergirl to face a chaotic threat. That's all it reads. Yeah, but I think it's, yep. Ooh, really? It did happen in the past 20 episodes. Once again, we're on opposite sides. But let's talk about something we're all on the same side of. DCU potential has. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about something we're all on agreement with. DCU might have potential discounts for local retailers. During office hours, Applejack noted the following. At this time, that's referring to member benefits. At this time, that's not a. Oh, she was referring to the DCU in app store that used to be a proposal that just never happened. And she said this. At this time, that's not a huge priority. However, we do discuss rewards programs such as a membership of DC Universe earning you discounts at participating retailers. A pipe dream, but this is the kind of conversation that manifests into. I just love the idea of having DCU gives me a discount at my local comic book shop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or if you had DC Universe for a year, like a year subscription, they had like a member exclusive lounge with like breakfast for DC Daily every day or something. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. So I was looking and I was trying to figure out like what are the upcoming conventions that like DCU would be at, okay? Because I was thinking about this because we're scheduling with Applejack. And I was looking at a list of stuff and not a lot of them came to mind of like things that DC Universe would totally do. And the big thing that was even more confusing was WonderCon, which is where they did the whole big comics announcement last year, is has been delayed or is like 2 weeks later. Which like if you think about like how late that is, in it's April 10th to 12th, which last time was like when they were already releasing the giant batches of comics, like by April 10th to 12th. So that's definitely too late, especially if they're announcing a Stargirl or something. That's really late. Although I think we're getting a Stargirl announcement way sooner than that. Because then April, because it's a March, it's a spring title, right? And so I was like, what's there? You know what the only big convention between Wonder Comics, WonderCon, and now is? It's Emerald City Comic Con, is uh which is in Seattle. Ooh. So that's my theory of where they're going. Uh which is March 12th and 15th. Yeah. Which means I'll be able to tell you everything about their member exclusive benefits. Ooh. I can't go. I tried to get tickets. They were already out. They sold out way too quickly. I swear, I can't get tickets to Comic Con. Like, how does people actually obtain them? Because every time I think about like, oh, how much? Like every time you try, and just out of curiosity, it's like completely impossible. Yeah. Well, no, it's a lottery system, and then once you get in once, you can get in every single year. It's kind of how they do it. Uh, no, so they could all get the option to renew their passes for a year, I think. But they have to do it. But they get told like they have to do it by a certain date, like during a certain time frame of a certain date. So, and then whatever they miss and whatever they add is what fans get to do. So they don't actually have a lot of new fan lottery tickets available. And that's also why people who like go like one year seem to go every single year. Is because it's way easier to go every other year. It's a lottery system for the first year. But no, like I can't like whenever there's like tickets available for Comic Con, I like never know about it. And then like when I'm like, oh, when's what about Comic Con? They're like, oh, they're already all sold out. And it's like, uh. So the only way I could get to Comic Con. So serious question, serious answer. The only way I could go to Comic Con right now is if I pay $400 for a family pass on Sunday, which gives me a 4-day pass to all kids activities. So it specifically has to be activities under the age of 12. So if I want to go, I can only go to activities under the age of 12. And I'm like, no, thank you. What, Aquaman? Oh yeah. I'm amazed people do it every year. It's insane. That being said, I would totally pay 600. I would totally pay $1,000 to go, and just make it like my like big trip of the year or something. It just sounds amazing. You're going to Turkey. Why are you going to Turkey? Why? Just out of all the places you could go, why Istanbul? Oh, sorry. Out of all the places you could go, why Istanbul? No, I'm just generally curious. Wow. That's so fancy. Ooh. Well, you're gonna have to tell us how Turkey is. Okay. Wow. Wow. Because they can make money off of us. That's my theory. Also, property taxes. Also, higher salaries and minimum wages. Oh my God. What has our podcast become? We're talking about beds in Turkey. I mean, just think about that for a second. How do you even get here? And Turkey. No, it's okay. Also, Hickman's X-Men continues to be amazing. Yeah. You're like, I don't care. Actually, I'm just not going to say that yet. Oh my God. I love that people are buying it and not actually enjoying it yet. That being said, I bought Tom King's Vision. I've only read the first issue. So, yeah. Anyway, Harley Quinn episode 7 came out this week. Isn't Star Wars Legacy like the only good Star Wars comic of that era? Oh, that's what I've heard. I just can't bring myself to read Legend stuff because it's weird to think of like all the like continuity that you're missing out on, you know? Anyway, Harley Quinn, we've talked about Star Wars, we've talked about X-Men, we've talked about Comic-Con, we've talked about Turkey. Let's talk about Harley Quinn. So this week we had the episode The Line. What do you guys think of The Line? With the Queen of Fables? Yeah. What? I liked it. Okay, you go ahead. No. No. Why are you shipping Kite Man and Poison Ivy? No. Why are you happy about that? Because Poison Ivy is supposed to be with Harley Quinn. That's the only legit relationship Poison Ivy is supposed to be able to have. Oh, I mean, it does play well. It's just they're not supposed to be. Yes. Like DC is the most dodgy group. Like DC continues to just dodge around Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They freaking created a comic called Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. And they don't talk like ever about their romantic relationship. Instead, it's all about Poison Ivy's connection to the green. Like, you did that? Well, it's that the only person who doesn't treat Harley like shit, like you guys treat me like shit, is Poison Ivy. And I think it's important to have strong LGBTQ relationships. And I think Ivy also has a very different attitude towards Harley than she has towards any other person. And I think for Harley, it's partly about accepting that she's like, it's partly about just accepting who she is and trying to not force a relationship that's toxic for her, right? And that she's trying to fight this like almost desire to be, like to be in a relationship that's like heteronormative, but her not being. And I think it's part of the toxicity. And I think that there's something really powerful about that. And well, I think part of it is DC's never been willing to go more than just hint at the potential of a relationship. But they've made it very clear multiple times that there is that they both want to be in this relationship together. They just refuse to go there consistently, and that really bothers me. It's like I don't know. I know by Kite Man and Ivy, like it's very clear Ivy doesn't actually want to be in a relationship with Kite Man. No, I don't buy it from this iteration of her and what I know of Ivy. And Kite Man is such a deviation from what we historically view him as. Like, or at least what I view him as, because I view him as the Tom King Kite Man, where it's like has the most tragic story of all time. Like, that's how I've always viewed Kite Man. Oh, it's very tragic. Poison string killing your son, string of a kite. Come on. It's come on. Has anyone else ever given Kite Man an interesting origin? No, it's not the Riddler trying to get the Joker to laugh. It's that the Joker can't get himself to laugh. And no, they go to war because no, they go to war because only one of them will ever get the opportunity of killing Batman. So they decide that I'm gonna be proactive and just make me the person who gets to kill Batman. I think there's some amazing moments in that comic. You want to talk about the Deathstroke Deathshot fight? Amazing. There's just so many great moments in that comic, and I don't get people who dislike it. I don't get it. I think the meal in Bruce Wayne's house, amazing. Kite Man's story, amazing. Like, there's just a multitude of just cool moments. I think the idea that Joker's like the ends up saving Batman from murder, amazing. The piece is great as a whole. The whole okay, here's the thing you don't realize. No, you're like the thing is that none of the story actually matters, okay? What okay, let's talk about what they thematically do. Okay, that is the argument, right? He constantly is like, what's the difference between a joke and a riddle? And at the end, Catwoman comes in at the end and said, you guys are all idiots. The answer is there is no real difference, and that doesn't matter what the difference between a joke and a riddle is. Oh, you haven't gotten frustrated by a joke before? I don't get why you guys hate Tom King. I love him. It's okay. War Heroes in Crisis. Don't. I say that as a Tom King big Tom King fan. It's fine. There's some great moments, but don't read it. I'm pretty sure it's just what Tom King wanted. It's just not what happened. I mean, there were some great moments. There was also just the sense of it fell apart at the end. It's like Bendis' Event Leviathan. Did you like Event Leviathan? Did it fall apart at the end? I thought the opening was great. I hated the ending. I thought the opening of Heroes in Crisis, the first 5 issues, was great. The ending was bad. Oh no, well, I mean, you have to remember, I read through Leviathan Rising, which is the preview of Event Leviathan 2. No, and I did like the first 2 issues of Event Leviathan. I thought that was where it was a lot stronger. It fell apart at the end because Bendis didn't do enough to like move the mystery forward. A mystery only becomes better if you get new details and new evidence. That's the whole point of having a mystery novel, is you get more evidence over time so you figure it out. Bendis didn't give us enough evidence. I love the first one. Yep. I actually liked it up till the end of issue 5, and I was like, really? Is this how we're doing it? Yeah. Issue 5, they end with the cliffhanger of him revealing his face. And then Superman goes, oh my god. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a big name. And then it's Manhunter? No, 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 no. I never thought that. Well, he gave it away in like a freaking in like Millennium Legion of Superheroes. Anyway, I think part of my problem with the last like couple months of DC is everyone hates Tom King's Batman and everyone hates Bendis's Superman, and no one likes Wonder Woman. So none of the Trinity has been popular for the last like month. And some people don't like Scott Snyder's Justice League. I really like it. I think it's been the least bad of the like top 4 important titles. But the problem is all of DC's big developments have just fallen. I mean, we said that, but the worst Justice League comic ever was DC Rebirth. And that was arguably DC's best era. Of the last like 2 decades. Well, especially of the decade. No, of the decade. No, of the decade. No, of the last decade, definitely. New 52 was not a great era. DCU was not a great era. New 52 had some good moments, but Rebirth was especially the first half of Rebirth was a lot stronger than DCU and New 52. I don't know. I tried because it was a Rebirth comic, reading Gotham Academy Semester 2. Do not read Gotham Academy Semester 2 unless you've read Gotham Academy second semester. I get it. I just wish, right, I just found it impossible to jump into. Like it was so confusing. Also, I was expecting a lot more tie-ins to like the DC universe as a whole. I feel like you guys just hate everything Batman lately. You've been like, Batman Eternal sucks. Tom King's Batman sucks. I know. Okay. You guys are reading Batman Year One, right? Got it. You guys are doing a lot. Dang, that's impressive. Oh yeah, that helps. Mhm. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, I guess it's my turn to plug. Just be quick. New to DCU, which of course reads the newest comics that have come to DCU. Is reading Green Arrow Citizen's Arrest, which is a story about this person who uses social media to determine the fate of billionaires because he's lost his trust in billionaires. Uh, and it's really great. Of course, the best part is the middle, which DCU actually called the most underrated comic of one of the most underrated comics of the decade. And because it's a Heroes in Crisis tie-in, that's about Oliver Queen mourning the death of someone. Of yeah, and it's. I'm pretty sure Doctor Manhattan killed him. I'm pretty sure Doctor Manhattan did it, and the person just thinks he did it, but Crisis. Anyway, but there's a wonderful little small Heroes in Crisis tie-in. It's very simple, but it's very wonderful and beautiful. It's one of the better parts to come out of Heroes in Crisis. But Citizen's Arrest is a really fun story, and it's both the culmination of a run, but also extremely over the top accessible. Like it's bizarrely accessible for being the culmination of a run. But so that's the thing. So you guys should check that out. It's really great. And then because what we're doing for January is we're going through all the different major smaller characters who have their own titles. So this week's Green Arrow, I think I don't remember what next week is, and the week after is Hawkman. So there's a bunch of wonderful stuff going on. So that's everything. So that's all for this week. We are on Podbean, Google. Oh, I forgot. We have to do the TV report. Na 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 na. News report, TV report. Is it news report or TV? Na 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 na. News report on Tuesday. I like my singing myself. Na 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 na. News report. Ouch. Do you not like my singing? I like it. Yeah. Na 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 na. News report. Yeah. On Tuesday, Crisis Part 4 and 5 will be going on. Talk about the big moment. Can't believe it's almost over. And then Harley Quinn Episode 8 will be on Friday, and it's called LODRSVP. 5 bonus points if you know what that stands for. Yeah, 5 points if you can name the acronym that is LODRSVP. Yes, but the whole thing. Like the whole thing. LODRSVP. It's Legion of Doom RSVP. It means respondez s'il vous plaît. Respondez s'il vous plaît. Which is respond if you please. Yes, French words. So Legion of Doom, respondez s'il vous plaît, is what LODR SVP. Weirdest title ever. Anyway, that's all for this week. We are on Podbean, Google Play, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So subscribe on all those services. We are not on Apple Podcasts because every time I think about it, I hear Aquaman slurping, and more importantly, AwesomeSquid slurp. Yeah, I have not been doing all slurping. Someone was just slurping just then. Craig is doing. Okay, Craig is the recording software.